Hey familia, Miranda here, and welcome to another episode of First Viewing, where I share my thoughts and recommendations with you guys on films that I watched for the very first time. So I got a pretty good stack today, so we're gonna go on ahead and get right on into things. All right, so first up, you guys, I finally watched the John Wick films. I do need to see about getting the fourth one, but I did binge watch the first three here, and I gotta say, I totally get where the love for these films come from. I enjoyed the heck out of these. I mean, each one is just freaking action-packed. The fight sequences are just badass, and Keanu Reeves is just whooping ass in these films. I mean, he was great, seriously, in all three of them. He was just freaking awesome. These films are just so fast paced and over the top. I mean, obviously, nobody's that good, but Keanu Reeves, like I said, he was just freaking totally awesome in these, and I just enjoyed his performance in all of them, and just he was so freaking good, you guys. But anywho, I definitely enjoyed the first one, and I enjoyed the third one. The second one was okay. I felt like it lacked a little something in the storyline for me, but it was still good. But yeah, these just, if you're looking for just a fun action-packed kicking butt kind of time, like, these are your films, like, for real. So I definitely need to see about getting the fourth one, because I want to see how things kind of like play out and everything. I hear that one's really good as well. But the first one was definitely a little bit more on the comedic side. Like, it's seriously like everything, all of this just for a stolen car and a dead dog. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like he only had the dog a couple days. I know it was a gift from his wife and everything, but I mean, he wasn't really attached to it, you know. But still, for everything to have all started just because of that, and then for them to create, like, you know, 3 films off of it, it's just crazy. And I like how at times they definitely try to throw some like kind of dry comedic elements, you know, to the films, like the infamous "oh" lines, you know. Like, there's the one line in this first one, especially the first one. I found it a little bit to be more on the comedic side, but in the first one, you have the whole where the dad, the mafia dude, you know, he gets a phone call saying that his son did this, and or he's like asking, you know, what he did. And the guy on the phone is like, yeah, he stole the car and killed the dog of John Wick. And then he's just like, oh. And then he hangs up. And then when, like, the dad is talking to the son and they're just having this conversation about John Wick, and he's like, he's the one you sent to kill the fucking boogeyman. And then the son's just like, oh. Like, I don't know why, but those moments, they just made me laugh so much. Like, I don't know. There's just some, like, really funny, just kind of sentences in here that they say that are just, you can't help but chuckle, you guys. Like, seriously, nobody wants to mess with John Wick, like, not even the police, even though they'd be seeing the dead bodies there in his house. He's like, oh, you back to work in? He's like, just sorting some things out, and it's like, oh, I'll leave it to you, or whatever, you know, something like that. But yeah, it was pretty funny. The third one, though, the third one, you guys, is just insane. Like, it's just crazy. Like, seriously, everybody's after John Wick, and he is just seriously, like, whooping ass like crazy. And so, yeah. So I get it, you guys. I get the love for these. They're fun for sure, and I do highly recommend this whole entire franchise. Like, not a bad film in here. All right, next up is Date Night. This one I enjoyed the heck out of as well. It's very funny. Steve Carell and Tina Fey, I thought that they were really great together. Kind of a little interesting duo there, but I thought they had great chemistry, and I was just seriously laughing my butt off with this film. Basically, of this couple, they kind of have this routine. They usually go out, you know, every such day, and they technically go to like the same place. Well, one day they decide to kind of switch it up a bit, and so they decide to go to a new like restaurant or whatever. Fortunately, they couldn't get in, and so they end up stealing someone's reservation there because the people were being called. They never showed up, and so they pretend to be those people. Well, just so happens that those people that never showed up, they were, you know, I guess, kind of being hunted, and so they get mixed up in this whole like identity crisis type thing with this other couple. And so you got these goons that are out to get them, thinking that they're these certain people when they're really not. They're just your kind of, you know, average married couple, whatever. And so their night just goes kind of crazy. It's like seriously one thing after another. I mean, it's like break-in and a whole bunch of other stuff. And so they're just having one bizarre, crazy night, being, you know, chased down and everything by these goons and whatnot, because they're supposedly mixed up in this whole, I don't know, situation about this flash drive. You know, you got like the DA and you got the police and all that involved and stuff. So it is so funny, you guys. It's a fun one for sure. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It was one that I was kind of debating. Like, I wasn't really interested much in this at first, but when I put it in, I was like totally wrong, you guys. So date night, it's a fun one, super funny. All right, next one is Maid of Honor. I loved this one, you guys, so much. I can easily put this up there with it being like one of my all-time favorite rom-coms. Oh my goodness. I love this one so much. Like, it was super cute, you guys, seriously. But basically, you have these two, they meet in college. He was technically, I guess, dating her roommate. He kind of ends up in her bed by accident. And from there, they kind of become these, like, best friends and stuff. And he's, quite the ladies' man. He has these rules, about, dating women and stuff like that. And it comes to find that he actually, is in love with her, but it took him a bit to realize it, because she ends up getting scooped up by somebody else, because she goes away off to like Scotland and stuff for her work, and then she meets somebody, brings him back, and they're set to get married and stuff like that. And so he basically becomes the maid of honor, because obviously, he's her best friend and everything and stuff. So, I mean, it's kind of a weird little situation there. But anywho, he's trying to be this perfect maid of honor, but he's, like I said, in love with her and everything. And so he kind of stops at nothing to kind of prove his love to her. And obviously he doesn't want her to get married or anything like that and stuff. And so they take this trip to Scotland to get married and stuff like that. The dude she's marrying, he's like this duke or whatever and stuff. And I mean, the two of them, they just have such freaking good chemistry. Like, oh my goodness, it was like just amazing to see the two of them together. They were super adorable and everything. And yeah, it's just a really great, really funny rom-com, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. All right, so I finally checked out My Girl. I know, another one that I missed out on, from like my childhood or whatever. I'd always heard good things on it. I knew going in that this was going to be a sad film. And I mean, the girl in here, she's definitely a unique character. She's not, she's different, that's for sure. And, she kind of has this obsession sort of with death, but it's like at the same time, she's also afraid of it and whatnot. But anywho, going in, I knew this was going to be a sad film from what I'd heard and stuff. And so I was kind of just waiting for that moment to happen. And I mean, it just kind of kept going and going and going. I was like, okay, when's this moment, the sad moment coming? Of course, it hits. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's sad and everything. But the moment that hit me so hard that I was just absolute total waterworks was when she came down from the stairs. She goes over to the casket and she doesn't see him with his glasses on. And she just starts crying and she's like yelling how his glasses, he needs his glasses to see. I just started bawling my eyes out, you guys. Like, that moment just hit me so hard. I don't even know why. But it's a great film, you guys. These two, they have just a cute little, friendship going. Like I said, she's different. She just has a kind of unique personality and everything. But great performances all throughout. And it is just a really cute, heartwarming, yet heartbreaking there towards the end kind of story. So, I mean, I see why this one is quite popular. So I'm glad I finally got around to watching it. So next up we have The Lake House. So we got Keanu and Sandra Bullock together again. And I gotta say, I definitely think that their chemistry in this film right here was like even more better than their chemistry in Speed. I mean, it was definitely nice to see the two of them in another film together, but this one is definitely more of a romance type drama, I guess you could say. They basically, there's this lake house that his dad built, and they've each lived in the lake house, but they're like somehow just kind of unique, I guess you could say. It's kind of an interesting concept for the storyline that they're living like 2 years apart. I think it's 2 years anyways. But yeah, that supposedly they'd kind of met before, but at the same time, like they're just kind of writing these letters to each other, and somehow they're 2 years apart. I don't know. And then in the end, somehow they end up on the same like time frame, I guess. I don't know. It was interesting. It was kind of weird. It was a little hard to kind of keep up with. Like, it was a little confusing at times just because of the whole, time span and everything. It was kind of weird, but overall I enjoyed this one. Like I said, they definitely have some really great chemistry in here. It's a nice little romance flick that they're literally falling in love with each other, but through letters, until they actually finally meet and everything. So definitely a good one. I'd recommend it. Next one I have here is the Chicken Chronicles. This one I do recommend you guys. You got a young Gutenberg in here, and he was great for real. But this is just a fun and pretty funny little coming of age flick. It definitely has to do with one of those things where you have this guy. He's kind of one of the jock. I guess he's like a jock or something, but the whole thing is it's basically having to do with wanting to get laid and stuff like that, and you know, him and just kind of his journey to get laid before going off to college and whatnot. And so he has this, you know, supposedly like super hot girlfriend, but it's like, is she the one and stuff like that, and she doesn't really want to give it up, or you know, she has her, you know, expectations that she wants and stuff like that. And so I don't know, but it's a really great coming of age flick. I do highly recommend it. Say Gutenberg, he's awesome in here, and it really just kind of has to do with that. He works at this you know, chicken joint or whatever, and so it's great. There's a lot of just funny moments in here and everything, and it's just a great coming of age flick. I Spy. So this is basically like a wannabe Rush Hour, if you will. Not as great, but I still had fun with this one. I thought it was pretty funny. Basically have Owen Wilson, he plays this spy, and Eddie Murphy's character is his boxer, and basically he uses Eddie Murphy's character kind of as a cover-up to pretend like he's working for him to figure out, there's like this, I don't know, there's some government stuff going on. They steal this like super jet plane or whatever that can go like invisible and stuff like that, and so basically he needs to try and recover it or whatever before some crazy chaos happens and stuff like that. And so yeah, he pretends to work for him, and I don't know. It's along those lines. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed this one. It's no Rush Hour, but I thought Owen Wilson and Eddie Murphy were definitely super fun together. There's just some great funny moments in here and everything. And so yeah, if you like Rush Hour, definitely check out I Spy. I'm sure that they got the inspiration for this film from Rush Hour. So, but yeah, I Spy. Okay, so I checked out Enter the Dragon. I'll be honest, you guys, like, growing up, I always remember hearing about like Bruce Lee and everything, but I don't really think that I've ever seen like any of his films, or like not that I can recall, or maybe I have and I just don't remember a damn thing about any of them. But yeah, Enter the Dragon. This one I definitely enjoyed, you guys. I will say martial arts back then definitely could be a little bit on the cheesy side when it came to like the sound effects of like the punches and stuff, and just all like the noises and stuff he'd make when he'd be like, you know, punching and kicking butt and all that. You know, certain aspects were a little cheesy, but I definitely enjoyed it. You know, the whole storyline, he's this kind of like cop dude, and obviously he goes undercover to this one tournament. It's actually a pretty deadly tournament, like martial arts and stuff like that. And basically he goes to try and uncover this whole like drug lord, and you know, his operation of I think it's like heroin and stuff like that, that they are, you know, covering up and everything. So it's definitely a really good one. I see the love for this one for sure. The martial arts in here is fantastic, but like I said, it's definitely a little on the cheesy side when it comes to, you know, like the sound effects and stuff like that. I don't know, it just always kind of throws me off a bit, but I enjoyed this one. Bruce Lee was awesome in here. So it's definitely one, if you're into martial arts, check it out. Like I said, I was never really big on martial arts films growing up, but I definitely enjoyed this one. It's definitely one, like martial arts, something that I'm more open to, you know, nowadays compared to as when I was a kid. But yeah, Enter the Dragon, awesome. All right, so I checked out The Curse of La Llorona. This one, you guys, I don't really know what to make of this one. Like, I thought it was okay. It was definitely, like, had its creepy moments for sure. Like, La Llorona was definitely creepy, but she was a little cheesy looking at times. I ain't gonna lie. But overall, it was an okay story. I feel like there's just so many stories and movies out there of La Llorona and stuff. And I mean, I personally didn't really grow up with the whole, you know, being scared of her and everything. I know lots of people have, like in, you know, like Mexican culture and stuff like that. Like, you know, some of my family and stuff, I know they were all like scared of her and everything because, yeah, that's what people did, you know, to kids, is try and scare them. So, you know, they're like home on time and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, the myth of her it's an interesting story for sure, interesting case. Whether it's true or not, don't really know. But yeah, they've just done so many freaking movies on her, and there's just so many like versions of the story and everything. So, I mean, it's just kind of another one to add to the books, you know. So it wasn't really anything special, wasn't anything over the top, but it definitely had its creepy moments for sure. I mean, I definitely, you know, kind of got scared a little bit, maybe a jump scare or two, but yeah, no, I thought it was perfectly fine, nothing wrong with it. I didn't hate it, didn't love it, but it was all right. So La Llorona, if you know the story, then, you know, go ahead, give it a watch, see for yourself what your opinion is on it and everything. And, you know, if you've seen any of the other films, you know, compare it to those or whatever, as you please. But yeah, The Curse of La Llorona. And this being part of the Conjuring universe, I'm curious to see if they're even going to go on and do more with this. To kind of, I don't know, because you get like one little tiny Annabelle clip in here. And so like, how is that part of the Conjuring universe? Like, you know, so hopefully they do something else with La Llorona to tie it actually more into the Conjuring universe, but you know, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. All right, so the next one I have here is Devotion. This one is based on true events, and it does have to do with like fighter pilots and stuff like that. This is Jesse Brown is the name of the pilot, and he's the first black pilot in the Navy. And so obviously this does take place during a time of like racial tension and all that stuff, but I don't know, like I was expecting kind of like Top Gun with this one. I mean, I watched this with hubby, and even he too is like, he expected way more from this. We were definitely thinking this was definitely going to be more like Top Gun. There was going to be more, you know, in depth with the whole, you know, fighter pilot stuff, more like hardcore training and just like battle stuff like that. Like, I don't know, but it lacked so much more like emotion and like in depth and whatnot. But these two, they're like good friends. Like he's the only one that kind of like sticks up for him amongst like, you know, the crew and everything. And they're both really supposedly like excellent like fighter pilots and stuff. So you do get like some training here and there throughout. And then you do get like a couple of like battle scenes, but not really very much. And it's nothing compared to like Top Gun. And I just feel like this, it's supposed to be an inspirational story, but I feel like it lacked the inspiration. Like it needed more emotion. It needed to focus more on, you know, the inspirational element or whatever of the story. And I feel like this just kind of fell flat a little bit. Just was not what I was expecting. Hubby was like, no, it was not what he was expecting. And like we both said that this could have been like so much better. But I don't know, there was just something missing in this film for us to just kind of put it up there. It just really did lack like more emotion and stuff, and just more of the whole fighter pilot stuff. You know, like I said, you get a little bit here and there of, you know, the training, but it was nothing like super hardcore like in Top Gun. And just the whole like the battle scenes and stuff like that, you only get like maybe one or two ish, and it's again nothing like Top Gun. So yeah, we just expected way more from this, for real. So this one was kind of a miss. I mean, towards the end, it definitely got a little bit sentimental, and that's where I was like, got a little bit teary-eyed and everything, and whatnot. But yeah, so I don't know. If you're into the whole fighter pilot stuff, I mean, I'd say check it out. If you're into the true stories, check it out. But for me personally, it definitely lacked a little something more to kind of put the story over the top, and just more like in-depth, more emotion, more inspiration. Just not what I expected. All right, so I finally did, with my son, check out Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm not really going to go much into this one because, as you guys know, I'm not super huge on, you know, DC or Marvel or superhero movies in general. I don't know what it is about them, but they just never really tend to pull me in very much. But I mean, Justice League, what's not to like about this version? Yes, it's freaking 4 hours long. But honestly, at first, I was really dreading the runtime of this one. And after watching it, it just really moved along. It's set up perfectly. The only thing I hated was having to like switch discs. So it was like 2 hours on one disc, 2 hours on another disc. That was kind of annoying. But no, I enjoyed this for the most part. I definitely see why this one is more well loved and more well accepted than, you know, the other Justice League, which it's basically, it's like I told my son, it's like it's deja vu. I've seen this before. So it's like Justice League, but then they add on an additional 2 hours of just extra stuff, you know? And it worked though. It really did work. I feel like we definitely got some more like character depth and everything in this film, and just more of a better story. It's one that you are invested to the whole time, like I did. Even though, like I said, I'm not huge on superheroes and all this stuff, but I loved this one, and just the whole entire like storyline, and how much more like, you know, information and just character depth, character story, all of that we got in here. And I feel like it was just very much needed. So I mean, I'll definitely watch this again for sure, because I really didn't feel the runtime at all, you guys. It was paced perfectly and stuff. And so yeah, and I love the whole kind of cool tones, like darker colors and stuff. It really worked for the film, I thought. And so yeah, I thought this was great, and I see why everybody loves this version more, obviously. But yeah, so we got Justice League, you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Next one I have here is Dance of the Dead. This one I wanted to like more, you guys, but basically this is a little zombie flick. You have these teens, it's prom night, and just so happens that these zombies come up on prom night or whatever, you know, come back from the dead. And so it's basically these teenagers fighting off zombies and stuff like that. I wanted more gore. I wanted more like on-screen kills, I guess, because like a lot of them were like off-screen, which was kind of annoying. But I don't know. I mean, overall, it's a fun watch. I just, like I said, I wanted more gore, more like on-screen kills and stuff like that. The zombies were fine and everything, but it was just missing a little something for me to kind of put it over the top. But yeah, overall, it was okay. Would I watch it again? Probably not. But you know, the one-time watch that I had, it was fine. It was fun. Okay, Trailer Park Shark, yeah. I mean, you gotta love the cheesy shark flicks, but it's like the cheesy ones, are we really gonna watch them again, you guys? This one was pretty dang bad. Obviously, Trailer Park, you have this like greedy like congressman or whatever. He wants these people out of their trailer park because he wants the land for use and everything, but obviously they don't want to leave, and they are paying their dues and all of that and everything. And so he actually like bursts this dam, and it floods the whole entire area and stuff. And so there's somehow this shark, who knows where the heck it came from, in the water and stuff. And so it's going off and like killing people and stuff like that. Might I say, poor horsey in here. Oh my goodness. But yeah, and Tara Reid, she is so freaking unrecognizable in here. Like, it's like, is that even her? It does not look like her, like in American Pie or anything like that. But yeah, the acting in here was not great. Obviously, you know, the performances weren't very good. The shark, obviously terrible looking and whatnot. But I mean, it was cheesy. I had some fun with it for sure. But again, it's another one of those. It's like, am I really gonna watch this again? Probably not. So I don't know. This guy right here, though, I actually liked his performance. He was probably the only good one in here. But other than that, everybody else just kind of sucked. And yeah, the shark wasn't all that great. I mean, you do get, you know, some blood. You know, you do see some of them getting eaten by the shark and whatnot. But, you know, it was okay. Then, of course, I did check out Blood Bite. This one, actually, I didn't like as much as Trailer Park Shark. There's another cheesy one. And this one is more so... you have this investor dude who he is in charge, or he's invested into this really kind of cool, I guess, like aquarium type thing. And so they have these sharks there and stuff. But they are basically doing these experiments on the sharks to, I guess, like increase their fertility or whatever. So obviously, I guess, like sharks, they can only have like one, you know, shark a year or whatever, because I think it's like, you know, 12 months that they last impregnated or whatever. So yeah, but you have this other dude, like he is kind of trying to stop them. He was kind of brought in only to basically use him for, you know, part of the experiment, which he was kind of unaware of and stuff. And I don't know, this one, it was honestly a little boring, I guess. You don't really get many kills. There isn't really like any much blood or anything. I mean, it's mostly like the shark, you see it swimming around and making it think that, oh, it's going to come and get you and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. It just kind of sucked, you guys. I like the trailer park one better than this one. And yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't very, very good. So it's just basically the sharks in here, they, like I said, have all these experimental drugs in them. And so now they are just more wild than ever and everything. And so I don't know. It was lame, you guys. So I do not recommend that one. Last but not least is this film here called Slayers. Yeah, I did not like this one, you guys. Honestly, I was pretty bored with this. It was a little all over the place. Like, I didn't really know what the heck was happening, like, half the time I was watching this. But basically, he's a vampire hunter, and then you have this girl right here. She's, like, some sort of, like, gamer. She's some sort of, you know, like, social media superstar or whatever, and I guess they get invited to meet her. She's just this like billionaire lady or whatever, but she's actually a vampire. And so yeah, he, like I said, hunts vampires, has the help of her, and you know, taking down all these vampires and stuff like that, because yeah, and they're trying to like turn, you know, other people into vampires, and like her mansion and everything, like there's like some underground stuff, whatever. But yeah, it just, I don't know, it wasn't even fun, you guys. I was like really, really bored with this one, and like none of the characters were really very likable in here or anything like that. So, I mean, it's definitely a no-go. I don't recommend this one. Yeah, could have been so much better. So that is it for today's video, you guys. Let me know if you've seen any of these films and your thoughts on them. I would love to know. Thank you so, so much for watching. Join the family if you have not, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.